Hello everybody, how are you guys today? As you can see, I've invested in a Thrustmaster TH8RS shifter. That's the word that I was trying to find there. I have had a busy day at work. I'm a little bit tired. So yeah, it's a shifter. Anyway, I thought, now obviously the reason, or you might work out that surely if I bought this, then I must like the T500 RS. Well, let's just take you into my room. It's not officially my room, me and my girlfriend's room, but yeah. And show you my wheel in place. You probably can't see it that well, sorry about that. I'm really happy with this wheel. I'm not going to do it in-depth review, just going to basically explain how I feel about it. It's a really great feeling wheel. When you're in a racing game, especially the simulation games, feels so good, feels so accurate, feels much better than my G27. It's a belt driven force feedback system, so it's very smooth, very natural feeling, much more than the G27. I like the fact you've got lots of buttons, which you probably can't see, sorry about that, but there's lots of buttons here. There's even a D-pad which I can use in the menus of most games. It makes it really easy. I don't have to keep going back to the keyboard to press various things in the menus. People say about that they don't like the shifter pedals, the shifter paddles even, because they're not attached to the wheel. I personally, I do not find that a problem, because we are very intelligent people, we are very adaptable usually, so I find that after I've kind of missed the paddle a few times, then you basically learn that you need to, if your hand is fully extended, you know, if the wheel is fully extended around, if that makes any sense, then you have to make sure that one of your hands is in a good position for a paddle. So I find that I very quickly and easily adapted to that. I don't find that an issue. It's fine, and they are very big, so it's quite hard, I think, for you to miss them really. I like the feeling of the quality of the wheel. It feels really nice, it feels heavy, it works really well. I've heard that people have complained about the build quality. I mean, obviously I've only had it a few weeks, I can't really say, but so far it feels really nice to me. I will let you know if it suddenly was to break or something, but you know, so far it feels good. People have also said that these fans, I think here, are very noisy. I don't find them really at all noisy. I find them fine. I don't hear any real noise from them at all, so that's fine by me, no problem at all. So yeah, it's a very good wheel. I would say that, you know, obviously it's a very expensive wheel, like $500 at least. So it's like, I would say that this is really for people who play a lot of racing games. They're quite enthusiastic about either racing games or simulation racing games. So for those people it's really worth it, because you get that extra little bit of feeling. But if you are not very hardcore into these things, you're just, you know, if that's the kind of game that you only play every so often, then I would go for something more like a G27, because for the price that's pretty much all that you would need. So yeah, it just depends if you're very enthusiastic about racing or not. Okay, now I've found out something new that you can't see very clearly because the wheel's not actually plugged in right now, and my monitor just turned off. Let's turn it on again. Down here below where the wheel is, I mean, you can see there the word mode. You can't actually see it, but there's a button there and there's a LED. If the LED is on red, that means that you need to have the pedals here on the F1 style, which is how I have them right now. If this is on green, you need to make sure that the pedals are on the inverted style. They call that the GT style. And then also, as soon as you have plugged in your wheel, they have a program called Control Panel. So you can basically, after you've installed all of the drivers, so you go onto the Thrustmaster website, they have a support website, so you go there and you download the latest drivers, and also you need to download the latest firmware, which is version 40, because that will really help a lot with the latency of your wheel and things like that. So you install the firmware, it's really easy. You install even the drivers. So then you should have a control panel. Now it's not plugged in right now, so let's see if I can plug it in with one hand. What do you think? There you go, that's what it does. It's calibrating itself now. You can see the red light is on because, like I said, I have it in the F1 style. So yeah, then you'll see the control panel thing here. Basically there. When you first connect, it's very important that you come here and that you press the accelerator and that you press the brake, especially if you're using the special brake mod thing, because I don't know if you noticed, but when I first started to press the brake, it didn't go all the way to 100%, and then the calibration kind of works out that's as far as you can push it, and then it will alter it accordingly. Because when you buy the T500, it gives you this free what they call a realistic brake modification, and it's basically a spring that you put behind the brake pedal, which makes it feel a bit harder for you to push down and therefore more realistic. It works pretty well. It, you know, improves the feeling of the pedal. It's not perfect, but it works pretty well. But because that's basically limiting the travel of the brake, it means that it's important that if you have that installed, that you calibrate it in the way that I just have described, by pressing all of the clutch, the brake and the accelerator when you first install it. One thing that was slightly disappointing about this, the Thrustmaster software, you have the ability to change all of the things like the degrees of rotation, of course, and also the force feedback in a game. The thing that was disappointing is you can't actually save that for each individual game. That is a feature that's really good in the Logitech Profiler. I would say that is something that Thrustmaster need to work on, because, you know, certainly if they are selling this kind of a high spec wheel, I believe they need to kind of have these kind of features. So yeah, I mean, that you can alter everything really well, but it can't be altered, well, it can't be saved for each individual game, which is very disappointing. Yeah, so that's a quick kind of tips thing about the control panel. Yeah, now I'll quickly talk about the pedals. The pedals, like I said, the realistic brake mod, I think it helps quite a lot. It makes the brakes feel pretty good, and I'm sorry you can't actually see them very well because there's not a lot of light in this room right now, sorry about that. But yeah, the realistic brake mod, it makes the brake feel you know, a bit more realistic. It's not absolute the best in sim racing. I'm pretty sure you can find something that is better, but for me it feels pretty good, and I'm not locking up the brakes that often. Like if you're a simulation racer, what the whole reason that you would like a really good feel in the brake pedal is that if it feels very soft, you always seem to lock up your brakes way too easily because you're pressing way too much on the brake. With this, I'm not really locking it up that much, so it's pretty good. I mean, it's not the best, but if you consider that they came as a package with the wheel, I'm pretty happy with that. They're pretty nice. I still feel that the clutch is a little bit weak, but the accelerator and the brake are fine. They look really nice. They're like a full kind of metal thing. That's good. So yeah, all in all, I'm very happy with the wheel. So that's just me just quickly explaining that before I go on to unboxing the gear stick, because that was what I said in my other video, that I kind of had decided that if I liked the wheel that I would get the gear stick. I used to have a gear stick on the G27 that looks like this, and I used to enjoy that. I used to use it for certain games, and even this one, it did feel pretty good. Not completely realistic. It had a feeling of being slightly loose, if you know what I mean. So I used to like it, but of course if I thought that this was fun, then of course I would imagine that this is going to be way, way better, because this is a much more high-end product. So, I mean, the only feature that the G27 gear stick has that this one seems like it doesn't, is it doesn't have all of these kind of buttons. But to be honest, when I had this installed, I used to find it very awkward to press these buttons, or I would never really think to press these buttons. So I never really found them that much of a good feature anyway. I mean, and like I said, the feeling of the gear stick, it just feels a bit too kind of loose. You get used to it, and it is still pretty fun, but it certainly is not a very high-end one. Pretty good, but not really for the enthusiast. But as you can see, they're saying that this one is a H and a sequential shifter. It says on the PC it works with basically all racing wheels, so you don't need to have a Thrustmaster wheel. You can use any wheel and it will work. I believe it plugs in as a separate entity. It's not actually plugged into the wheel itself, which is kind of cool. And it said 90% metal, which is good. Obviously, like I said, it's a very high quality item, and it's for PC and PS3. Yeah, so let's see if we can look. I mean, there really is not anything exciting on the side here, just more info in various languages, and again, even on the back, not that exciting really. I would say the only exciting bit is the front bit that makes you think, whoa, cool, you know. So, okay. So let's see if we can open this. It's got the usual little tab on here. See how we go with this. One-handed. This is going to be tricky, I think. They seem to like to fit things in quite tightly, don't they? Okay, is this a box within a box? I think it might be a box within a box. Yes, it is, I think. There you go. So let's go to a nice shiny box, and we're left with a very boring white box. Again, I ordered this from Amazon, because Amazon were happy to send this all the way over to Hong Kong. So let's hope it's not smashed into small pieces. I'm sure it won't be. Okay, another hard thing to take out here. You can see it's all in there. So let's see if we can, without breaking the thing, take it out. Okay, so let's see what you get. Of course, you get lovely pieces of cardboard, which everyone loves to get. A manual, which I probably will not read unless I have any issues with the gear stick. Now, oh, and I forgot to talk about with the T500, I actually really like the way that it clamps onto the desk. I heard some people in reviews saying it didn't feel that great, but they might be people who are used to hard mounting on sim rigs. In Hong Kong I don't have a lot of room. There's no way I would ever have a sim rig because I don't have enough room. So I'm really used to attaching wheels onto a desk, and I don't know if it's because of the particular kind of desk I have, but I find the T500 actually connects much better than the G27. I used to find that sometimes the G27 I would actually pull it off of the desk, or it would kind of move a little bit, whereas I find the T500 is absolutely rock solid on the desk. It never moves. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. And it looks like they've gone for the exact same type of mount here. Now this thing, it does look like a nice piece of kit, I have to say. I mean, this is looking pretty pro, really. So can't wait to get this thing plugged in. Use it with some GT Legends or something like that. Like Netcar Pro with like one of those kind of old muscle car vehicles, right? Yeah, so they've gone for the exact same kind of clamp. Well, actually, it looks very similar, but it looks like a very hard wearing one. It's completely made out of metal here, apart from obviously the plastic bits at the top. It's pretty cool. Now, it's hard for me to really stand it up for you to see properly. Oh, there you go. Obviously, I'll be taking off this crappy sticker here. I hate those people that leave these kind of stickers on. It's like, just take it off, and I hope it does come off. Yeah. So, now, that is hopefully not everything. I should have in here my knob. That sounds rude. Now the knob doesn't feel that heavy. maybe usually a gear stick knob is usually not that heavy, maybe, I don't know. Allen keys, they like to use Allen keys. Now what this is like a what do you call this thing on the top here? A gate. This would be a gate, but they give you an extra one, so this one is the sequential thing, the cover thing that goes on there. If anyone has the technical term, please let me know. So you can basically unscrew this one, put on this one, so you have a sequential shifter. Now usually I usually only use these kind of shifters when I'm driving a car that I would usually use a gear stick with in real life, or if I was driving it in real life. So quite a lot of race cars I use the paddles because that's what is used in real life. But like I said, when you're driving like GT Legends or the vintage car in that Car Pro, these kind of things are really good. They really add to the feel. Let's see if I can unpack this. Oh yes, very easy. A nice shiny gear stick knob there, and I'm assuming that should hopefully just twist on there. Yeah, and I believe you can change the knob to whatever you would like. There you go, it's on there nice and tight now. Now, I've had an idea. Why don't I put this between my legs, so you get to see my lovely legs, and try to, now, see, I can't even move that very well. Oh, it's doing alright. You know what? I mean, of course, it doesn't feel like a real car. I mean, I think if you want it to feel like a real car, then you have to buy those crazy gearboxes that are like $500 or like $1,000 US. Of course, for this kind of money, like I think this was 130 US. I mean, you are not going to get complete and utter perfect, but this feels pretty good. I mean, I'm going from this, you know, this which feels like a toy in comparison, and it feels really kind of clunky, to this, which, my goodness, I mean, just look at that. That is going to be nice. I'm going to really enjoy using this. It's going to make so many games just feel so much more realistic. So I'm really happy that I bought this. Yeah, so I am going to be plugging this in. I'm going to be trying this out, and I'm hoping it will really complement my wheel. I don't think I'm going to get the F1 wheel for the T500. I mean, I think that would be slight overkill because I've already spent around 500 on the wheel, 130, 150 on this. If I was to spend another 180 on the F1 wheel, that's a lot of money that I've just spent on a wheel, and it just adds the F1 thing. I don't think I really need that, to be honest. So yeah, I'm just going to be sticking with the T500 and this gear stick, and I have a feeling it's going to be epic. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you have any specific questions, because as I am not a professional unboxer or a professional reviewer, I just do things for fun. I very often will, you know, forget to mention certain features, or, you know, I forget to talk about things. So if you do have a question, then if you let me know, I do try to answer all of my questions that I get. YouTube is not great in that sometimes it will not show me a comment in the comments part of my account. It doesn't always seem to transfer across from the videos into comments, but usually pretty much I get to see them. So yeah, okay guys, thanks for watching this, and I hope I didn't ramble too much. Thank you and goodbye.